What's up, everyone? It is review time, and right now we're talking about a pretty big one. Let's get into Cherry, starring Tom Holland. He plays the title character in the movie, and it follows him through a pretty substantial amount of his young adult life, beginning with him meeting the love of his life, Emily, played by Ciara Bravo, and then following what happens to Cherry when he makes a number of big and some not so great decisions. Cherry opts to join the army, and when he returns home, he struggles with PTSD that then paves the way to a drug addiction, which then paves the way to him robbing banks. If that sounds like a lot for one movie to cover, it's because it is. Cherry clocks in at 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and I think it needed every second of that screen time, if not more. Cherry's biggest flaws are pretty much in the screenplay. While it does seem like it was intentional for the film to have this episodic type feel, sometimes those chapter breaks do run the risk of taking you out of the movie and then it taking a moment or two to readjust and get back into it. I haven't read the book that the movie's based on, but if any of you out there have, I would be kind of curious to know if the film version feels thinner or more rushed anywhere, because while the movie worked for me well enough, it was noticeable that it didn't have all that much nuance to it, and also, after everything we see Cherry go through, I would have liked to have spent more time with him during what goes down at the very, very end of the film. But even with those script gripes, Tom Holland's performance still manages to hold the whole thing together well enough, which is very impressive. We've seen this time and time again from him at this point. His screen presence is just undeniable. At this point, I'm kind of convinced that Tom Holland can convey any story or deliver any line of dialogue with such earnestness that I'd probably buy it. Cherry does mark some of his darkest material yet, or at least the darkest I've seen him in. Watching what he goes through in this movie is overwhelming at points. It can knock the wind out of you to see the ease with which someone can slip into these situations and headspaces when they're not getting the support and the resources that they need. And as Holland navigates all of that, being able to convey Cherry's inner struggle is just absolutely essential, and it's basically all on his shoulders because of those script issues that I mentioned earlier. And I did find that he was pretty successful in that department. He ensures that you feel the person that Cherry was starting to slip away, and then mainly in the second half of the movie, that you feel the crushing weight of his PTSD and his struggle with addiction, or at least I found that worked very well from the perspective with no direct experience with either. It feels important to point that out. As for Bravo, she is quite good here as Emily. Similar to Holland, your eye is just naturally drawn to her. She's often radiant on screen, and she does have the natural chemistry with Holland to fully make you believe that they were meant to be. The only thing is, and I know this is Cherry's story here, but Emily's arc is significant as well, and maybe this is because I found Bravo so magnetizing and capable, but I wanted her experience to be fleshed out too, whereas I found the movie mostly justified the moves that we see Cherry make throughout the story. I would have liked to have spent more time with Emily while she took part in those big decisions as well. As far as the Russo's work goes behind the lens on this one, I wouldn't necessarily say every single style choice works here, but they certainly do get the opportunity to show off their range. I think we've seen this to a degree in their Marvel movies, but with Cherry in particular, it is pretty evident that they do know how to capture a variety of different settings, and mostly in ways that well support that particular occurrence or experience, while also keeping the visuals of the movie cohesive. No matter what stage Cherry's in, you do always feel like you're right in there with him, and I think that quality contributes big time to patching up that lack of character detail in the script. But still, I did have a lot of questions about the specifics regarding Cherry's past and his day-to-day as we experience it throughout the film, so for those reasons, I am going to give Cherry 3 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale. There are some pacing issues, and the story can feel a bit thin and surprisingly small at points, but between the camera work and the command that Holland has over the material, Cherry does play well enough for the most part. offering up, I'd say, a decent understanding of why this wound up being Cherry's path in life and how the deficiencies we have in this country played a pretty big part in it. So there you guys go. Those are my thoughts on Cherry, starring Tom Holland. If and when you see the movie, do hit the comment section below and share your own thoughts on the film right there. Before I let you go, I gotta let you know that this review is coming your way courtesy of an A+ Patreon supporter. It is Ian Wilder. Ian, you are the coolest. I could not be more grateful to have you here, part of the campaign, part of our Power Hours, our Slack community, and I will not stop telling you how cool that Scream shirt is. I love it so much. So, Ian, thank you for making this review happen. To everybody out there, thank you for watching it. Do not forget to like and share it before you leave, and I'll have more movie reviews coming your way super soon.